Thanks for joining us tonight at 10. Before Mississippi voters head to the polls this year, the state's election laws are headed to court. Mississippi's Constitution puts more red tape than you may realize on electing the governor and other statewide offices. Courtney Ann Jackson explains.
The Mississippi State Constitution says candidates need to win the popular vote and the majority of the 122 state House districts. If they don't get both, the House could pick the winner. 4 black Mississippians are filing a lawsuit to say that part of the state law is racist.
It's designed to dilute the impact of the black vote in the long term.
The lawsuit notes that African-American voters are highly concentrated in a small number of districts. Millsap's political science professor, Dr. Nathan Schrader, says there are questions about that electoral vote process.
The problem that comes up there is you're discounting essentially the votes of every citizen or every voter who voted for the person that didn't win in that district. And they're being sort of cast aside in a way that seems to be anti-democratic.
The suit argues that in a close race, the predominantly white and Republican House could tilt a tight contest because much of Mississippi's black population is concentrated in Delta counties and not proportionally represented.
Since this was put into the state constitution in 1890, we have not elected a statewide candidate who is a minority, despite the fact we have, like I said, the highest share of minority voter constituents in the country. If this is successful, you would have a far less complicated and more fair and straightforward system of electing governors and statewide candidates. The system that we all sort of probably assume is already in place but isn't. It's what we would be using to vote this November.
Courtney Ann Jackson, WCBI News.
The Mississippi Highway Patrol confirms that at least 3 people have died and several others were severely injured in a crash on Highway 45 in Kemper County. It happened around 2 o'clock this afternoon and shut down traffic north and south of that wreck. Victims were taken to various hospitals by both helicopters and ambulance. A Meridian school bus was also involved. The good news, no children were on the bus. Meridian Public Schools Transportation Director Jason Chisholm says one of its drivers reported seeing a southbound vehicle shoot across the median, hitting cars, even sideswiping the school bus. The bus driver took evasive action. The bus ended up in a ditch. Sheriff James Moore is urging people to drive safely.
On these busy highways, people driving, you have to drive defensively, get the proper rest, wear your seatbelt, drive the speed limit. There's so much you can do. But I'd just like to say, if I can, to the people that are hearing this and seeing this, I'm asking you to please pray for this county and all those that have been affected in our county for the last few days. That's a lot of fatalities, and we're asking for everyone to pray for the families that are involved.
Definitely a tragic few days there. The names of the killed and injured are not being released at this time. The Virginia Beach mass shooting is the latest massacre to shake up the country. In the response, police used lessons learned from other shootings over the past 20 years. Monday, Columbus Police Chief Fred Shelton explained what you need to know if there's an active shooter in your workplace. Today, he talks about how law enforcement responds and how the 1999 Columbine shooting changed that.
Unfortunately, the words active shooter have become too common as mass shootings continue to rise. Law enforcement and first responders have had to change their tactics and their training to meet the challenge. Columbus Police Chief Fred Shelton says the 1999 Columbine massacre was the catalyst for that change.
We learned this from the Columbine shooting, is that until the police secure the scene and we stop the shooter, emergency services are not going to come. The ambulance, fire department, they're not coming in until we neutralize the threat. And so the sooner we can neutralize that threat, the better we can be to help people.
That tragic shooting also developed into something you now see in schools, which also helps law enforcement to better respond.
You see they have the room number, okay? Because I'm looking from the outside in. So I need to know if there's a shooting in room 102, like, where's room 102? But again, and that was one of the things that they found out from Columbine, because there were people that died and they bled out because nobody knew where they're at.
Chief Shelton says since EMS aren't allowed in until after the threat is cleared, knowing CPR and basic first aid is very important in these instances.
With our SRT teams now, we have what we kind of adopted out the military. We have a medic with us And of course, this person is going through the building with us. He's with us. He doesn't have weapons, but he's going through with. And we come up on a person that needs help. He can do a quick triage, put a bandage on, and we keep moving.
Shelton says if you ever find yourself in an active shooting situation and you can't get out, there are a few things you can do to protect yourself. On top of that, Shelton says you can also do things to help first responders. One includes calling 911 on your phone and leaving the line open for dispatchers so they can relay what they're hearing to responders. And if you are able to escape, you can still help law enforcement by being a good eyewitness.
As emergency responders respond, you can tell us and give us good intel on what's happening. So because again, it's really important that we get the information before we come in, because again, we have to know what I'm dealing with. If I have a guy that has an AK-47 and he's firing off, well, quite naturally, I'm not going to come in there with my handgun. I need something else.
Shelton says it's also important for law enforcement to know the layouts and floor plans of businesses and schools in their areas. Time now to get a first look at our forecast. We'll send things over to meteorologist Kendall Smith. Hey there, Kendall. How are you?
Hey, Scott. Well, this is our current setup on Doppler radar. We are seeing just a few showers and thunderstorms that we saw earlier this evening. They're starting to dissipate, just one little more located near Aberdeen and Amory at this time. And this is a viewer picture sent in to us by Wanda Doss of the storm that has just made its way through West Point earlier. If you look closely, you can see a few little raindrops along the fence, and that's just a pretty mix for a little bit of pretty sunset. Temperatures area-wide are sitting in the upper 60s and low 70s, 68 a little cooler in Starkville, 72 in West Point, and 74 in Amory. As we go throughout your overnight hours, temperatures will drop into the low 70s with more showers on their way.
All right, thank you very much, Kendall. A recent Columbus High School graduate has been accepted into 20 colleges and earned 22 scholarships. Our Quentin Smith, he speaks with the young scholar, and Quentin, she had to put in a lot of work to get to this point.
That's right, Scott, and her hard work is paying off in a big way. Marion Turner was the valedictorian in her high school class while also graduating summa cum laude from East Mississippi Community College in a dual enrollment program. She's now looking to build on her success when she goes off to Spelman College this fall.
Going to college is something Marion Turner has always dreamed of, so she took to the books and worked hard to make her dream come true.
It was really shocking when everything started to come in, the scholarships and the acceptances. That's when it really hit me that I've been doing well.
She's been doing so well that a picture of Turner and her accolades is gaining a lot of attention on social media. The recent graduate finished high school with a 4.5 GPA and racked up more than $400,000 in scholarships.
It's a shock for me because when I was coming into my senior year, I didn't expect it. And so just seeing how much work that I put into it and being able to receive that much money and showing like it's getting me into my dream school.
Her dream school is Spelman College, which is where the high-achieving scholar earned herself a full academic scholarship.
I will be majoring in international studies and Spanish, a double major, and I will be focusing on international development on a pre-law track. And so in the future, I hope my career deals with global diplomacy. And my long-term goal is to become a U.S. ambassador.
Turner says she's always done well in school. However, she admits receiving all of this recent success was a bit overwhelming.
I'm not surprised, but I am surprised at the same time because I know that I do work hard for everything. I try my best to do as much as I can.
She excelled in everything, made straight A's since the 6th grade. She did everything with a smile.
The young scholar credits her family and school leaders for her success. Now she's hoping to serve as an inspiration for other people following in her footsteps.
Being in Columbus, you get to see a lot of things happening here, and so my main thing for me to be able to achieve all of this was to be able to be a role model for those around me.
And I guess you can say that high academic achievement runs in her family. Turner's younger sister received the highest GPA among freshmen at Columbus High School this year.
Well, if you were thinking about headed down to the beach this weekend, you might want to rethink those plans as it looks to be a little bit of a soggy weekend in store for us. More on those rain details coming up next.
Your first alert AccuWeather forecast with meteorologist Kendall Smith.
Well, we saw showers and thunderstorms earlier in Tupelo, but we are currently seeing dry conditions. Just taking a look in downtown Tupelo on our Alpha Insurance Sky Camera, where temperatures are currently sitting in the mid-70s with a dew point at 69, so it feels muggy out there. Temperatures area-wide are sitting in the upper 60s and low 70s, 77 a little warmer in Columbus, 74 up in Amory, and 72 in West Point, 68 down in Starkville. So this is our current setup on Doppler radar. We're just seeing a little bit of shower and thunderstorm activity that we saw earlier start to fizzle out. Just one little more batch around Amory at this time, but that will start to fade away as we go throughout the overnight hours. As we zoom out a little bit further, though, we can see our next few rainmakers down to our south. This is the tropical system that is currently located in Louisiana. That will be making its way into our area, as well as this next little batch of rain out to the west. That will also be making its way into our area over the next several days. So how much rain could you see over the next several days from this system? Well, we could see anywhere from 2 to 5 inches of rainfall by the end of this weekend. Lots of soggy weather is in store for us. You want to make sure you have your rain jacket and umbrella handy because you will need it. And so timing out those rain chances is a little bit better for you. We're seeing mostly cloudy skies as we go throughout your overnight hours, but the rain does start to pick up as you wake up on Thursday morning, and then by lunchtime tomorrow, we're seeing widespread showers and thunderstorms again, and keeping those rain chances around for honestly the remainder of your day on Thursday. So the Storm Prediction Center has placed a marginal risk for severe weather on our area, mainly for our southern counties. The biggest threats here are going to include damaging winds, and we can't rule out the chance for an isolated tornado or two, although that tornado threat is low, however. So we also will see some more rain on Friday as well as we're going through Friday, and then on Saturday, guess what? You guessed it, more rain is in store for us as well as on Sunday, and we're just going to keep this wet pattern going for the next several days. So temperatures area-wide are going to be considerably cooler tomorrow. They're only going to make it into the upper 70s, 78 in West Point, 78 in Pontotoc, a little warmer, 80 in Tupelo, but considerably cooler than we have been over the past several days. So if you're thinking about heading to Starkville for the Super Regional this weekend, it looks to be a soggy one. Mississippi State will take on Stanford Saturday and Sunday, as well as on Monday if need be. But look at this, showers and thunderstorms are expected. But if you're headed up to Fayetteville, Arkansas for the Fayetteville Super Regional, Ole Miss will take on Arkansas Saturday and Sunday, and you look to have much better weather, partly cloudy skies, and we might even see some sunshine. So in our area, however, we are going to be soggy. Check out these rain totals over the next several days, Thursday through the weekend. We're seeing lots and lots of rain. Temperatures will be cooler. They'll drop down into the low 80s with lows in the low 70s.
Speaking of those games, the Diamond Dogs need 2 more wins to punch their ticket to Omaha. Tom takes a look at who's next later in sports. Welcome back, everyone. Asthma sufferers know attacks aren't always predictable. In tonight's Health Talk with Baptist, we find out more about what to do when they hit.
Hi, I'm Dr. Gaurav Dutta, part of the pulmonology team at Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle. Tonight, I want to talk to you about asthma attack symptoms and warning signs. If you have asthma, you may go for weeks or months without having a flare, but suddenly your chest feels tight and you're coughing and wheezing. During an attack, the muscles in your airway tighten and their lining gets swollen. They make more and thicker mucus. All of this makes it hard to breathe. Just before or at the very start of an asthma attack, you may notice certain symptoms that may tip you off. Coughing a lot, especially at night, trouble sleeping, losing your breath, hard to breathe during and after exercise, low PEF numbers from your peak flow meter. When your symptoms flare, it might be hard for you to do normal, everyday things. You may experience short, shallow, fast breaths, a whistling sound when you breathe, especially breathing out, also known as wheezing, a cough that won't go away, tightness of the chest, inability to get enough air in. When symptoms become severe, you may feel panic, wheeze when you breathe both in and out, and cannot stop coughing. Call 911 or get to the hospital right away. You need immediate medical treatment. Join us next time for Health Talk with Baptist, where we will talk about treatment options for asthma.
Mail your topic suggestions to healthtalk@wcbi.com. Health Talk has been brought to you by Baptist Memorial Hospital Golden Triangle.
The Bulldogs will look to defend home turf 2 wins away from Omaha. More on Super Regional Preps next in sports.
WCBI Sports with Tom Ebel.
For the fourth straight year, Mississippi State will look to win 2 games to advance to Omaha. The Bulldogs hosting a super regional for the first time since 2016. And just like then, another Pac-12 team comes to town. The Stanford Cardinal had to battle out of its own regional, having to win 3 straight games to advance. A total of 6 SEC teams advanced to the super regional round. And Ethan Small says it's a nice change-up to face someone unfamiliar.
I will say it's exciting to play someone new that you haven't seen before. Of course, you play those SEC teams all the time, then you play them in the tournament, and I think for college baseball, it's fun to have those cross-conference matchups, especially West Coast and way over here. I think that's just really exciting.
They're a good team. You know, it's going to be a dogfight this weekend, but what else do you expect to get to Omaha? You know, you got to earn it, and we look forward to doing that.
Really, it's going to be the same mindset as it's been all year. You know, focus on us, do our thing, and that's how we're going to approach them.
All year long, we've been in the top 5 in the country, and so is Stanford. So that tells you a lot about them right there. It's a West Coast team, but it's also very talented, some high-level draft picks, and they always play a good brand of baseball.
Today in the MLB draft, dreams come true for a local baseball star. Smithville's Jared Johnson, selected by the Atlanta Braves in the 14th round, becoming the first Smithville Seminole to be drafted to the big leagues. Johnson, who is a Mississippi State commit, plans to sign with the Braves, according to the Daily Journal. Johnson was the 1A Baseball Player of the Year, leading Smithville to a state championship this past season. Big day for the Major League Baseball draft for our area. Mississippi State setting a program record, 11 guys drafted in 2019. Here are the big ones from day 3. Tristan Barlow to the Colorado Rockies in the 16th round. Dustin Skelton, 18th round to the Miami Marlins. 20th round, Jared Liebelt going to the Arizona Diamondbacks. 25th round, Keegan James drafted by the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies showing Mississippi State some love today. Some more guys getting drafted for the Bulldogs. In the Major League Baseball draft, Marshall Gilbert going in the 29th round to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Peyton Plumlee drafted by the Houston Astros in the 31st round. 32nd round, Cole Gordon will join Jake Mangum in the Big Apple. New York Mets drafting Cole. And then in the 34th round, Tanner Allen drafted by the Colorado Rockies. And there's your Mississippi State Bulldogs drafted. And then Ole Miss for day 3. Parker Caracci, Toronto Blue Jays, 21st round. 22nd round, first baseman Cole Zabowski to the Detroit Tigers. Zach Phillips in the 27th round, drafted by the Kansas City Royals. And last but not least, 29th round, Houston Roth, drafted by the Baltimore Orioles. For the full recap of the Magnolia State in the 2019 MLB draft, go over to our website, WCBI.com. JAV-U continues its reign over NCAA track and field. Superstar Anderson Peters smashing records left and right for Mississippi State, besting his personal record, school record, and NCAA national meet record, as well as his home country of Grenada's javelin record. A historic day for Peters, and not only for Peters, but for Mississippi State. Bulldogs Javelin becomes the first team since 1964 to sweep the NCAA podium. Curtis Thompson and Tyree Corsford finishing 2nd and 3rd behind Peters. Big changes coming to NCAA men's college basketball to be effective this year. The NCAA Playing Rules Oversight Committee approving to move the three-point line to international distance, that being 22 feet and 1 3/4 inches. The move was experimented with the NIT during this past season. Not only are we moving the three-point line back, but the NCAA changing up the shot clock. Instead of the shot clock resetting to 30 seconds after an offensive rebound, it will be reset to 20 seconds, another rule that was experimented in this past year's NIT. That'll do it for sports. Well, WCBI News returns right after the break.
Our hearts are a little heavier today. Our family here at WCBI learned Chief Photographer Tony Peoples died this morning. We're all better people for having known TP and having the opportunity to work with him. Our love goes to Tony's wife, Sandra, and his children, William and Leanne. His work was always out there, even if his face wasn't. Tony will forever and always be in our hearts.
It was a good day.
For 37 years, WCBI Chief Photographer Tony Peoples captured Mississippi from behind the camera. Strong and steady behind the lens, Tony was our leader in the field. He was a mentor, teacher, and most of all, a storyteller. His legacy travels from WCBI with reporters and anchors across the nation. He taught so many so much. We will remember his smile and his encouragement, his work ethic and his life lessons. We will always remember you, Tony.
It was a good day.